Thank you very much, and I think that it's important to put some context into the meeting today. When we look at the carbon tax, we heard today testimony from the PBO. We've heard testimony from the Governor of Bank of Canada, both nonpartisan experts in their respective field. That the carbon tax is in fact causing individuals to go hungry. It's causing children to not be able to eat at night and go to bed hungry. This is a significant issue. And so my understanding of it, and I could be wrong, I have no inside information, but my understanding of it is that the premiers wrote to the Finance Committee and asked before the April 1st, when the carbon tax is set to increase by 23%. We don't have much time here, so we can postpone and live in an imaginary world where this doesn't exist, but it does. We have April 1st deadline. They wrote to the Finance Committee, the Liberal Finance Committee, and he deemed it that it was inappropriate, that somehow the premiers, that millions of Canadians should not have a voice, that we should just all sit here and watch children not be able to eat at night because it might upset our schedule? Are you kidding me? How out of touch?
Hey,
we are here. Hey,
hold on. What about
everyone to just take it down
I'm sorry, but je ne mangeais.
Listen, I missed meals, sometimes a whole day's meals, and the carbon tax didn't exist back then. Now, you know, is the carbon tax really doing all of this? Can we get back to brass tacks? It's important to hear from premiers, but it's important to not use them as political pawns, and I would like to put people on notice in that regard.
Thanks. Before we continue, we just remind everyone of your voice levels with our interpreters, please.
My apologies, please. Yeah, my apologies to the interpreter. But I'm not apologizing for my comments because they represent the reality. We heard today from the parliamentary budget officer that the carbon tax is increasing food. We're facing an affordability crisis. I met yesterday with a single mom, has a couple kids, whose mortgage eats up her entire paycheck. So she has to use a food bank. Like, this is not a laughing matter. This is serious, guys. And premiers wrote to the Finance Committee, and the Liberal chair decided that their voice wasn't important, that the millions of Canadians that they represent didn't count. And so, yes, our chair followed proper parliamentary procedure and called a meeting so that the premiers, the leaders of millions of Canadians, could testify from New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, from Saskatchewan, from Alberta. I'm sorry that we had to move around our schedules. I know that we're all very busy, but millions of Canadians want to express their view that the carbon tax is hurting families and it's hurting Canadians. And so, yes, I don't think it's asking too much for 12 members of Parliament to move around their schedule for their voices to be heard. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Anyone else wish to speak on this? Sorry, is Mr. Yeah, I'll get you. Yeah, I'll get to Mrs. Vignola and Mr. Lawrence. Do we get Mr. Backrack checked in? Are you joining us and we're losing Mr. Bouleraise?
Hi, Mr. Chair. Unfortunately, I don't have my headphones.
But okay, we'll recognize thumb up or thumb down for you then.
Thanks.
Yeah, Mrs. Vignola, then Mr. Lawrence.
J'inviterai Monsieur Lawrence à mettre son écoute.
Well, I'd like Mr. Lawrence to put on his headset because previously, before I put my colleague on notice regarding the fact that we don't need, it doesn't have to be just due to a carbon tax that people can't pay their rent or they have to skip meals, because I actually did both of those things for years. And there wasn't a carbon tax back then. But honestly, we need to be respectful towards our witnesses. We need to really dive deep into the issues that they're experts on before we question them. You know, it's not just a matter of having people showed up who've been who've been asking to see us for months. It's a matter of respect towards the witnesses. I know that the 1st of April is on the horizon, and it's not April Fool's here that I'm referring to. But the fact of the matter is, we need to be respectful towards our premiers, their valuable time, which is just as invaluable as ours is, if not more, and whether it be a premier from a Canadian province or the province of Quebec, they have a hell of a lot of responsibilities, and so we need to be respectful towards them. I don't think that my 80-hour shift of per week suggests that I'm lazy, and the reason I'm speaking now against having these meetings is because I'm lazy. It's not about that. I work hard. It's a matter of respect to those witnesses that we have before us. And we also have teams that are working in the background, and we're continuously, keeping their nose to the grindstone, leaving them in panic mode, when really we should be more respectful towards them and towards the witnesses. None of this should be rushed through. I just wanted to put that on the record. I'm ready to vote whenever you see fit.
Thank you. And to the extent that my colleague took any personal offense, I apologize. I was not in any ways intending that she was lazy in other ways. What I am saying, and I make no apologies for this, is that Canadians are facing an affordability crisis. And thank you for sharing your personal story. And I've heard from tens, if not hundreds of people in my riding who are going through that exact scenario.